Hi guys, and welcome to this video that's going to talk you through rounding numbers, okay? First of all, rounding numbers is where we either, and you'll see how this works, you round down. So if you had 49, say, you'd round it to 50. If you had 42, you'd round it to 40. And that's really a really useful thing to do because it can then help you create estimations, okay, which can give you a good idea of how big or small or how much something weighs, something like that. So it's really important maths, this. So steps to success. First up, I understand how important place value is. Now, we look at place value a lot. We're talking about units, tens and hundreds and thousands, sometimes decimals, decimal points, tenths, hundredths, okay? And we use it a lot. Our whole number system is based about place value, yeah? A number's value depends on which column it's in. If it's in the units column, and it's a 4, it's worth 4. If it's in the tens column, it's worth 40. And we use it when we times by 10, we divide by 10, we times by 100, we divide by 100, times it by 1,000. We use it when we do column addition, column subtraction, column multiplication. Place value is an important part of all maths we learn, and it's really going to be important here, okay? So I'll be talking a lot about place value. I can use place value to find which number I am rounding to, okay? So we'll talk through that. I know that I have to look at the place value position before the number I'm rounding to. And again, I'll remind you about what that means. If the number is 4 or lower, I round down. So you round down to the 10 below. If it is 5 or higher, I round up. And we've got this little here to show you. So if it's 4 or lower, you'll round down. Right, I'm going to talk you through this now. Obviously, some of this won't make sense, but watching the video through, hopefully all of this will make sense, and I'll come back to it. So, first of all, we're going to be rounding to the 10. So, what does that mean? So, I'm going to write the 72 in, and I'm rounding now to this here. Okay, so I'm rounding to the 10. So, let's look back at our success criteria. Okay. Place value, I've drawn it out. I can use place value to find which number I'm going to. So I've done that. Second one, I can use place value to find which number I'm rounding to. I'm rounding to the 10, so this is the number I'm rounding to. And the second one is I know that I have to look at the place value position before the number. So this number is not going to tell me to round up or round down. It's this number that tells me to round up or round down. And then if I come back to this, if it's 4 or lower, I round down to the 10 below, so that would be 70. If it's 5 or higher, I would round up to 80, okay? So this is 72. So let's recap. I've used place value, important. I found the number I want to round to. I want to round to this 10, okay? But that number doesn't tell me whether to round up and round 10. It's the number next to it, before it, next to it here. So I've circled it in green. And if the number is below 4, I round down. If it's 5 or above, I round up. So this is telling me to round down to 70. Okay? So that's telling me to round down to 70. Okay, so the answer here, if I've rounded it, would be 70. Okay, let's look at another example. Okay, I've got the number 28. Now I want to round again to the 10. So let's write this in using place value, 28. So the number I'm rounding to is this 20, this 2. And the number I'm going to be looking at then that tells me to round up or round down is here. So this is the number I'm looking at that tells me to round up or round down. Now I just want to make this clear. So I would be either rounding to the 20, there's 28, or 30. So it's the 10 either side. And this 8 will tell me whether I go up or whether I go down. Now it's 8. So let's look at this again. Now it's 8, isn't it? So that surely means I round up. So that means I'd be going up to 30. So I round up to 30, okay? Right, let's look at another one. This time it's going to change, okay? We've got 100 here. So let's write it in, use our knowledge of place value. Here you go. Now I'm rounding to the 100, so I'm rounding to this number. So therefore, if I'm rounding to that number, it means I'll be looking at this number to tell me whether to round up or down. Now, let's think about this. So what tens are either side of it? So if it's 147, I'd round down to 140, or I'd round down to 150. Now, it's this 4 here that's telling me to round. Is it round down or round up? Let's bring this back in. So if it's 4 or lower, so I would round down to 140. So that would be 140. Yeah, we ignore the 7. This 7's not important. It's this number that tells us to round up. This is where we're rounding to. So it's this number that tells us to round up or round down. Okay. Let's have another look. This time we've got a little bit harder, but it's the same thing. Don't be scared of this. It's the same thing. Right. First step, using my success criteria. Here it is again. Place value, really important. Done that. If you need to, draw out this place value. If you're confident, don't worry about it. I'm rounding to the thousands now. So let's identify where I'm rounding to. This is what I'm rounding to. Okay, so if I'm rounding to here, that's the second step. That means I'll be looking at this number, which is telling me to round up or round down. Okay, so if I've got 4,701, and I'm going to be either rounding to 4,000, or I'm going to be rounding up to 5,000. Okay, and it is, remember, and I'll use the same color here, is this number which is telling us to do it. And here we go, it is above 5, 7's there, so it means we would round up to the 5,000. So the answer there would be 5,000. Right, I hope this quick video about rounding is helpful. Let's recap those success criteria, okay? I understand how important place value is. I can use place values to find which numbers I'm rounding to. So I find which number I'm rounding to. I then look at the number before it that tells me to round up or round down. If it's 4 or lower, like on here, I round down. If it's 5 or above, I round up, okay? Watch the video again if you're not sure. Stop it, rewind it. Do what you need to do, okay, guys? Good luck.